What is going on, fellow fantasy people? It is your boy John with The Catch, here to bring you another mock draft. We have got a 12-team league going on, PPR scoring format, and I'm selecting number one overall. If you've been keeping up with our mock drafts, I have just done 2-0 RB strategy mock drafts in a row. And for this particular mock draft, I am actually not necessarily going to go 0 RB, obviously, because I have the number one overall selection. But outside of this first pick overall, I am going to go 0 RB, essentially. Heavy on the receiver, tight end, QB positions, because we know for a fact that we have got the best RB in the league in Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, off the board as we see Darren Cook and, not Darren Cook, Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry off the board. We will more than likely see several other running backs off the board. So while you're at it, guys, please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe for more future content like this, as it really does help us out as a channel, and we really do appreciate that love and support. And let me know in the comments down below what type of strategies you guys want to see, and what type of numbered leagues do you guys want to see. Heavy RBs in an 8-man league? Do you want to see a quarterback selected first in a 12-man league? Let me know down below, and we will get those videos pumped out for you guys. And don't forget to tune in for our annual The Catch podcast, as well as we see Davante Adams as the 7th overall selection in this mock draft, going before that of Aaron Jones of the same team. So things getting a little interesting, and I can tell you that I will be, selecting a receiver with this next overall selection, because I don't think that Travis Kelce will fall to us, as we do not draft again until pick 24. So I think more than likely we will be going receiver, QB, and then we will keep rolling and probably go with a tight end in one of the later rounds. If Darren Waller slides here, then maybe someone who becomes a selection here, but we'll see what happens. Continuing to see a run on running backs here in round one with Saquon Barkley, as well as Jonathan Taylor off the board, and now Antonio Gibson as well. Hard to stay hydrated during these mock drafts, guys, but I am trying my freaking hardest as we see Travis Kelce off the board, taken by Jonathan, and we will see who he selects with the first selection in the second round overall. So Darren Waller being our top tight end on the board. We've still got Tyrek Hill and Stephon Diggs available. And I was going to say, and Najee Harris gets taken off the board, which I think is a smart selection. Jonathan, knowing that he's not going to draft again for quite some time, going ahead and getting a running back, as Austin Eckler is off the board. And now a lot of stud receivers falling into almost the middle of the second round here, as Tyrek Hill selected 15th overall, very good value there. So let's keep on rolling and just watching these mock draft results, as it's kind of hard to start targeting people for your second round and third round, because so many good players just going to be taken over and over again, and it's really almost no point, right? So let's see, as I just moved my face around. Stephon Diggs off the board, taken after the selection of A.J. Brown, and now we see Joe Mixon taken. So my top receiver I'm targeting, you guys have seen me do this in a lot of mock drafts, is definitely DK Metcalf. But if he gets selected, I believe that D-Hop and Justin Jefferson will probably also be gone at that point. Darren Waller is looking relatively attractive from a fantasy perspective here. So we'll see what happens. And I'm still targeting Patrick Mahomes as well, who I've been taking in a lot of mock drafts recently. Let me know in the comments down below where you guys are thinking Patrick Mahomes is going to go in your respective fantasy leagues. Is he going to last till the end of the second round, top of the third round? Do you guys think he'll be taken in the first round? It sounds crazy, but I know in some people's personal fantasy leagues out there that Patrick Mahomes is highly valued and can go as early as the first round. So we do see Darren Waller off the board here, which changes a lot of things for me. And now DK Metcalf off the board. Part of me really wants to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire here and David Montgomery, but we've already decided to go light running back to see how this would unfold. But I can tell you, if this was my personal, fantasy league, I would be taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire and David Montgomery here. So we're going to go and shore up the quarterback position and draft that of Patrick Mahomes. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a PPR machine and Terry McLaurin, and we're going to move along, going light at the running back position, heavy at the other position. So our next two targets are going to be a tight end. I don't think George Kittle will be around when it is our turn to draft, but we'll go ahead and add him there, as well as TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. Try and get one of those elite tight ends. And then we will also be targeting another receiver. Try, go and get another number one receiver here. And then after that, shopping spree, every running back who might get a handoff this year is going to be who we begin to target. So let's just kind of see how this unfolds. I do like the selection of both Allen Robinson and Keenan Allen. I think they present about the same amount of value as a Terry McLaurin. You guys have seen me taking both of these guys in earlier mock drafts, as we now see Clyde Edwards-Helaire and David Montgomery off the board. And let me tell you, I'm doing this strategy for the sake of this video, but I'll just reinstate. If I had Christian McCaffrey with the first overall pick, and David Montgomery and Clyde Edwards-Helaire slipped to me there, my next two selections in the second and third round, I would be ecstatic. I mean, that is a great way to start your fantasy roster. Three absolutely hugely valuable running backs. So I'll stop talking about it. I am happy to be going through this draft strategy and seeing how this team turns out in the end as well, as we now see CeeDee Lamb, Chris Carson, and J.K. Dobbins off the board. So let's see, still 15 more selections to go. A lot of tight ends I like. Chris Godwin, or excuse me, not tight ends, wide receivers. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. We've got Amari Cooper left, DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett, Julio Jones, Adam Thielen. So we do see Mike Evans off the board, but a lot of good fantasy value here as we now see Josh Allen off the board. A lot of players left to be taken. I would like to get I would like to get some people's thoughts on Adam Thielen. He's definitely someone who over this past year has, kind of dropped down in terms of fantasy value to a lot of people. So I'd like to get, your guys' feedback on where you're kind of valuing Adam Thielen moving into this year, because he did score 14 touchdowns last year. And he was just under, 1,000 receiving yards last year. So those are very good numbers. 14 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns. And I think in standard scoring leagues, you really should be targeting this guy where you can draft him. And I know that we'll probably see some regression from that 14 touchdown mark, but Yahoo's got him, projected over 1,100 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns, which are still very good numbers, even if we see Justin Jefferson, take another leap from what he did in his rookie campaign. So I'm kind of interested just to get your guys' thoughts on that receiver room in, with the Minnesota Vikings. So we're now seeing a little bit of a run on receivers, which is not what we want to see with this next selection, knowing that we are going to get another receiver. And there are some very good running backs, or at least very valuable running backs here in the 4th round, and that of Miles Sanders, Darrell Henderson. You see Lamar Jackson now taken off the board. So we at least know we don't need to worry at the QB position for the rest of this draft, which is very reassuring. So we will just sit back and kind of see what happens here. Let me know who you guys like out of these receivers: DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett, Julio Jones, or Adam Thielen, because those are my top 4 targets for this 48th overall selection, as we see another receiver off the board. Part of me wants to go double receiver here and then see if one of these tight ends slides to us, like a Mark Andrews, or if we're just going to go out and get a Robert Tonyan or a Mike Gesicki a little bit later on. But I do really like the value of TJ Hawkinson here. He is, we have 2 more selections until we pick, and Tyler Lockett is off the board. So we still got DJ Moore and Adam Thielen, 2 guys I really like at this point in the draft. So we'll see what happens. But I think regardless, we're going to be able to secure an elite tight end and an elite receiver. So that's what I'm going to do. I do like Adam Thielen a lot here, and I do like DJ Moore a lot here. I'm actually going to pick Adam Thielen because I think that Robbie Anderson will be floating around in later rounds, and I'm going to go ahead and take TJ Hawkinson over Mark Andrews, although I think they present very similar fantasy value. So we will go ahead and pull up my team thus far. RB light, we did get the best running back in the league in terms of fantasy value, or argue if you think otherwise down below. But what many believe is the best running back in terms of fantasy value. And Christian McCaffrey, we went out and we got Terry McLaurin as well as Adam Thielen, the best quarterback in the league, and Patty Mahomes. And we've got TJ Hawkinson, whom I consider an elite tight end. So let's keep chucking right along here as we see DJ Moore, Myles Gaskin, Kyler Murray, Kyle Pitts, and Dak Prescott off the board in round 5. All very good players, all very good values here in round 5. And so for myself, we do need to start kind of filling up some of these gaps at the running back position. Like I said, we are going RB light, but at this point, the running back position is looking scary thin as Chase Edmonds is taken off the board and now Mark Andrews, and we still have 15 selections until we pick again. So Mike Davis and Damian Harris, probably the safest picks here. James Robinson, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson. We'll add Leonard Fournette as Mike Davis goes. Ronald Jones the second. Michael Carter will be added, as well as Gus Edwards and Kenyon Drake. And we will keep chucking along. We do know that, CMC is going to carry the weight of this team at the running back position. So if we can even snag 1 or 2 guys who are going to get us 10 to 20 points a week, we will be very happy. And that's kind of, your basis of a thin RB mock draft strategy, or as your RB strategy is that your quarterback, receivers, and tight end are going to carry the weight of your team. And in this circumstance, we are going to hope that Christian McCaffrey is going to be getting us 25 plus points a week, and some weeks getting us 30 plus points, 40 points a week, so that second RB is a little bit, doesn't have to carry as much weight. And we're going to rely on our quarterback, tight end, and first 2 receivers to really carry a lot of that weight, as well as we see Jerry Jeudy off the board at the top of the 6th round, someone who I've been adding to a lot of my rosters in later rounds, but someone who I am seeing moving up and up. I did a video on this guy and his fantasy stock rising earlier this week. Go check that out. But it looks like more and more mock drafts I conduct, he is just skyrocketing. He is someone that people want on their team, someone who a lot of people believe, as I move my face down, someone who a lot of people believe is going to have a fantastic year. I mean, I think at this point, you guys have heard me say that in almost every single mock draft I've done. And I'm certainly all for people going out and adding him to your roster, someone who I would have absolutely loved to add to this current roster. So we'll keep going here. And we're just kind of hoping that Damian Harris slides out of here somehow, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm starting to be very, very scared at the running back position. We are going to end up with a lot of handcuff situations on this team. And I might even go out and get a second tight end here because I don't know. I'm just scared. I'm scared, guys. We're going to be okay either way. I still think this is going to be a very good roster, but the running back position is very thin, and just adding another tight end might kind of shore up this team as a whole. But we'll keep moving along, and we'll keep seeing or how this draft is playing out, as we've seen Tyler Higbee, Trey Sermon, Kareem Hunt, Deontay Johnson, Deebo Samuel, and Teague Higgins in this 6th round thus far. So Damian Harris still lurking around. We've got, it looks like 2 auto drafters and 2 regular drafters. So I still think we can end up with some pretty good value at the running back position, but it's just, it gets so thin so quickly. You guys saw me do an 8-man draft at the 0 RB approach, a 10-man draft at the 0 RB approach, as we see Damian Harris off the board. And I wouldn't call this a 0 RB approach, but if you had the number 1 overall selection, then it's kind of impossible to do the 0 RB approach. I would call this a thin RB approach. And how I've been, kind of joining these mock drafts lately is, Yahoo just has a button at the top you can hit for 8, 10, 12, or 14-man leagues that puts you randomly into the next available mock draft without, choosing the number you want to draft from. So I'm kind of just going with wherever it places me, and kind of choosing a strategy right after. So this mock draft did give me the number 1 overall selection. So obviously I can't do a 0 RB. Like I said, if I did, I think most people would probably leave the mock draft and it would be pointless. So we are kind of moving forward with, like I've been saying, a thin RB approach. So I will probably be selecting James Robinson and Ronald Jones with these next 2 selections, as long as Matt does not pick one of them, and he did not. He went and got Javonte Williams, which let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking about Javonte Williams as well as Melvin Gordon, and how you think that backfield is going to play out. And while you're down there, hit that smash. That's always want to say hit the smash button, but it's hit the damn like button and subscribe for more feature content like this. All right, let's go. So we're getting James Robinson, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get Ronald Jones the second. We need some running backs on this team. If they have the potential to score a touchdown this year and they're at the running back position, they need to be on this team, right? We are very thin at the RB position. Drinking like this. I talked about this in one of my earlier mock drafts, how this looked like urine. This time it's in the can. It's not Lonnie New energy drink, but the can looks super cool. So anyways, let's see. 21 selections as we see Robert Tonyan off the board. Someone I considered adding to this roster, but I just think we are way too thin at the running back position to do so. And I don't even want to look at who's available at other positions. And I still feel like we need some more receivers on this team. And it might make sense to start kind of filling out some of those guys and hoping that some of these running backs kind of fall to us. So, but there is a lot of depth at the receiver position. So we're just going to kind of have to closely evaluate, but it might make sense to start going RB wide receiver for the rest of this draft. But there's a couple guys at the running back position that I think we do need to go ahead and try and ensure that we add to this roster, as we probably won't see a lot of these guys that we're seeing on the screen here with 17 more selections still left. So let's go ahead and evaluate this team with where we're at. Patrick Mahomes, I think I've taken him like the last 3 or 4 mock drafts I've done. But just think about the quality of player, quality of offense that you're going to get in a Patrick Mahomes. You are not going to have to worry about the quarterback position other than week 12 for the entire year, barring any injury. And I mean, just think about it. Patrick Mahomes on your team, how happy are you going to be, right? You're going to be very happy. At the running back position, we've also got the best running back in the league, or at least whom many think is the best running back in the league, someone who I have seen in like 98% of mock drafts being taken number 1 overall. So very happy at the running back. and the quarterback position. And we still have two very good receivers in that of Terry McLaurin. And even if Adam Thielen sees some regression this year, someone who is still going to play very well at the receiver position. And TJ Hawkinson, who I think is going to be an elite tight end this year. He is the focal point of the Detroit Lions offense. Take that for what it is, but he is going to see a lot of targets from Jared Goff this year. And then outside of Christian McCaffrey, we do have James Robinson and Ronald Jones, who present enough value to potentially be the #1 running backs on their respective teams. As in the round 8 here, we've seen Corey Davis, the LA Rams defense, Cortland Sutton, Ryan Tannehill, and Jamar Chase now off the board. So 6 more selections until we pick, and I need some more water to add to the side here, but that is just a side note. So I am kind of also considering trying to target a QB here. Just add someone else to this roster. It's been a while since I've went out and drafted 2 QBs, as Taysom Hill is off the board. Interesting selection. Let me know in the comments down below if any of you guys are targeting either of the Saints quarterbacks. Says that guy left right after he picked that, so I think that might be a little bit of a fluke pick. But let me know if you guys think either Jameis Winston and or Taysom Hill present any fantasy value this year. If you're playing in like a very deep super flex league, then I do think Taysom Hill potentially presents some value. If we do see, Sean Payton heavily utilizing him from, as a running back, receiver, tight end, QB, whatever he's going to do, he may have some games against some really weak offenses where, at least in a super flex league, he presents some good value to score. So let's go ahead and let's check our queue, see who's available. Things got pretty thin pretty quickly here. So David Johnson is available, but I just don't feel great about that pick. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take Michael Carter, someone who I think can be a number one running back, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to get another running back who I think could be the #1 running back in Kenyon Drake. A couple receivers I like there. Almost picked Antonio Brown. I think he has a potential to slide, even though we have 22 more selections until we pick. So I just think it was the best move for this roster, right? Outside of Christian McCaffrey, we need some help at the running back position. And by the time I select again, there's going to be nobody left except for maybe like a Naheem Hines or a JD McKissick, Rashad Penny, who I just don't have as much faith in as I do Michael Carter or a Kenyon Drake. So from here out, we're still looking relatively thin at the receiver position. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys think this has been a good draft or a bad draft. And, considering that this would be a PPR scoring format, if you guys think that this, the strategy is worth doing at all, or if it has just been a fluke, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what type of strategies you guys want to see in some of these future videos, as we only have so much more time to conduct these mock drafts and get them uploaded and pumped out for you guys, as fantasy drafting time is right around the corner. So also interested to see in the comments down below, as we see Mike Gesicki off the board, someone I would have loved to add to this roster. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below when you guys are planning on drafting. Are you planning on doing it week 1 of September? The second to last week of August, the very last week of August, the third to last week of August. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you guys drafting Wednesday night before Thursday night's kickoff of the season, Tampa Bay versus the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know if you guys are drafting Thursday morning before the game. Let me know, because I am interested to see where everyone is kind of drafting and when they plan on doing that. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, while you're subscribing for more future content and hitting that like button as well. So we now see Zach Moss off the board. Top of the 10th round here, we've got the Tampa Bay defense off the board. followed by David Johnson, who I think is a pretty good value here in round 10. I didn't take him in my last, round 9 or round 8 where I could have. If he had lasted through round 10, as we see AB off the board, which makes me very sad, someone I really wanted here. If David Johnson had slid out, then I think he's a great value. At this point, we do need some more receivers on this team. So we are heavily targeting Juju Smith-Schuster, Will Fuller, Michael Gallup, DJ Chark, as well as Michael Thomas. We need, Mike Williams just went off. So yeah, AB and Mike Williams were the two guys that I was really hoping to get. I almost picked one of the two with that last selection, but going RB thin pretty early on did not allow us to do so, because we just needed to get more running backs, as we now see Michael Gallup, someone else who I was targeting, off the board. So things are getting a little sweaty, getting a little slicey dicey here. We might get a little lucky and see some auto draft picks, pick some defenses and other positions as well. But hey, if you go thin RB, it's going to be tough pickings a little bit later on, even at some of the other positions. So just kind of know that there's a little bit of a trade-off. And we didn't even really get to secure a super elite tight end in this mock draft. So we'll see how this unfolds. And I'm probably going to have to go and draft 4 receivers here, because as much faith that I have in Terry McLaurin as well as Adam Thielen, we're going to need some more support on this team, and we will see who gets selected here. And we definitely are eyeing Will Fuller, who has the potential to be #1 receiver, and he is taken off the board. So I do like the selection of Curtis Samuel here, but we have Terry McLaurin on the team already. So things are getting a little scary overall. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to add Jarvis Landry, because I think he has the potential to have over 1,000 receiving yards this year. And then we're going to take Michael Thomas. We need that, kind of second half season value, as someone who we know is going to miss some games early on. But that kind of helps us out, that moving down later in the season, when you're playing to position yourself in a fantasy football championship and or playing in the playoffs or a fantasy football championship, we know that you have a #1 receiver, and that of Michael Thomas, as long as he stays healthy this coming year. So moving forward, we still have 2 more selections. I do like the value of Rashad Bateman, as well as Nelson Aguilar, and not Trayvon Smith, Jamison Crowder. I like the value of Mecole Hardman here. And those would really be about it. I do think, Elijah Moore, Cole Beasley, if he ends up playing this year, I think there's still some relatively good value here late, but not a lot of guys that I'm super confident in drafting. So we will just look at our queue and we will know that we have got a couple wide receivers with question marks and a tight end who is hopefully going to be healthy by the time that the season starts, but nonetheless, a lot of sleepers. So it might be worth it to go ahead and pick up a defense. A lot of people really high on the Cleveland Browns defense this year, and I think they're certainly going to perform relatively well. But I am interested to see in the comments down below if they're a defense that you guys are heavily targeting or not, because under 100 points last year, we know they made some really good offseason additions. We're going to have Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney rushing, and that's not even, the entire front 7 or even the entire front 4. So I think they are going to certainly have a lot of the turnovers this year, but I do kind of worry on the other half of things, how they're going to perform. So I just want to know what kind of in this tier of defenses, who you guys targeting? Cleveland, New England, the LA Chargers defense, Indianapolis Colts, or the Miami defense? Let me know in the comments down below, and we will see who is being taken in this 12th round. We have got Sammy Watkins, Devontae Smith, who I think is probably the best value out of these 3 selected, including Marquise Brown. I think Devontae Smith has a chance to be the #1 receiver in that Philadelphia Eagles offense, as we now see Ryan Succop off the board. And I have got 7 selections until I pick. So I still think we're going to end up being able to get maybe, well, at least two of these guys who I've got queued up. I do think that they're going to fall here to us. We'll go ahead and pull up this team, and we definitely need some more receivers. I just don't think that there's anyone at the running back position. I mean, really, these are your three guys: Latavius Murray, Rashad Penny, and J.D. McKissick, but I just don't know how much value they truly add. I think Marlon Mack might be an interesting pick here, but just a very crowded, running backfield in that offensive, or in that Indianapolis Colts offense. And I mean, we've seen that Marlon Mack can perform, but certainly Jonathan Taylor is the guy there, and Naheem Hines is your passing or pass catcher running back, PPR value running back. So I will leave Marlon Mack alone, but Marlon Mack certainly is someone to keep an eye on as the season season starts to progress after week 1, as we do know that he is certainly capable of rushing for over 1,000 rushing yards. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Hunter Henry with this selection. And then looking at these receivers, I believe Nelson Aguilar presents the best value overall. So I'm going to take him and hope and pray that either Big Mac and Cheese, Mac Jones, baby, or Cam Newton likes to target this guy a whole lot, and that he steps up and becomes the number 1 receiver in that New England Patriots offense. So at this point, we have essentially finished this mock draft. As I am not going to forfeit any positions, I'm just going to go ahead and add a defense and a kicker to this roster, and we will move on and just go ahead and go over this team. So we don't want to call this the 0 RB strategy, right? Because we got the number 1 overall pick. We've gone over this already. So at the running back position, we'll start there. We do have the best value at the running back position, in my personal opinion, projected over 1,000 rushing yards, over 1,000 receiving yards, and projected at 17 touchdowns by Yahoo Fantasy. So certainly enough value there that we could see 30 plus points multiple times throughout the season. But followed by CMC, we've got James Robinson, who we don't know if he is going to return to what we saw last year. We don't know if he's going to be a little less utilized. Travis Etienne there. Urban Meyer's come out and said that Travis Etienne is their guy, but James Robinson has to be utilized in some sense in this offense. So I do believe that he is a good upside player and someone who still holds enough value to draft. Outside of that, we've got Ronald Jones, who we're going to hope and pray is the number 1 running back in that Tampa Bay offense. We've got Michael Carter, who certainly has the opportunity to be the number 1 running back in the New York Jets offense. And we've got Kenyon Drake, more of a handcuff situation. Someone who, I mentioned could be utilized how Kareem Hunt was last year. We're not entirely sure, but also has the potential to play like an RB1 if and when Josh Jacobs deals with any injury this year. At the quarterback position, we were fortunate enough to go out and get the best quarterback in the league. And when his bye week comes in week 12, we will just stream somebody. We don't care. Every week we're going to have the best fantasy quarterback on the field week in and week out. So we're very, very happy with that selection. At the tight end position, we didn't go out and necessarily get one of the top tier elite guys like you can do with the 0 RB, thin RB approach in an 8 or 10 man team league, but we did get someone who is going to have a very good year, very, very good year in my belief, in TJ Hawkinson, and we didn't really have to sacrifice much for it. On top of that, we've got Hunter Henry on the bench as our tight end too, someone I'm very happy with, someone who I think has a lot of potential in that New England Patriots offense, regardless of who is throwing the football. At the receiver position, we did end up getting quite a few very good receivers in my personal opinion. So Terry McLaurin is going to be our number 1 guy. That might scare a lot of you guys out there, but he is going to garner a ton of targets. He does have a better quarterback this year, and that of Ryan Fitzpatrick, to target him. And I think these numbers are relatively fair, around 1,300 receiving yards and between 8 and 9 touchdowns this coming year. So that could certainly be much worse. So I am happy with that selection. We do have Adam Thielen as well, someone who I think does present pretty good value for where we drafted him. And then we do have Jarvis Landry, who A lot of people aren't very high on this year, only 840 receiving yards last year, but we are expecting that Cleveland Browns offense to open up quite a bit this year. And I like where he's projected right around 1,000 receiving yards, right around 5 touchdowns, a very good value for where we drafted him, as well as Michael Thomas, who, like I mentioned, we know will not be playing the first half of the season, or maybe not the first half, but is going to miss some serious time in the beginning of the season. But moving down the stretch, we know that we have a number one receiver if and when he does come out and play fully healthy. And then we went out and we got Nelson Agholor, another piece of that New England offense, someone who I think has potential to be a number one receiver on his respective team. So a very good kind of late round value. We still haven't even selected our kicker, our defense. So we'll cap off that video with those selections. I know you guys are dying to see them. And we could forfeit a kicker or defense here and get a Rashad Bateman, McCole Hardman, or a Jamison Crowder. So keep that noted as well. But we'll go ahead and we'll draft Miami's defense, and we'll draft Rodrigo Blankenship to top things off. So please let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of this overall strategy, what you guys thought of this overall mock draft, what you guys want to see in future mock drafts, whether it be 8, 10, 12, 14 team league mock drafts, whether, what type of scoring formats you guys want to see conducted. Please let me know down below. Please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe for more future content, as it does truly help out the channel so very much. And if you found this helpful, that is all I ask from you guys. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and give us some feedback as well and how we can help you guys in your personal fantasy football leagues. We are so stoked. Fantasy football, NFL football is right around the corner. We have got plenty of content coming on top of our annual League Catch podcast, so stay tuned.